There is a silent war waging inside every soul, a war between existence and purpose, between drifting through another ordinary day and rising with the fire of destiny blazing in your chest. Most people are sleepwalking, eyes open, spirit closed. They wake not to a calling, but to an alarm clock. They move without meaning. They work without wonder. They breathe without truly living. And in that quiet slumber of mediocrity, something sacred begins to die. The vision they were born to bring into this world. But there comes a breaking point, a spark, a collision between agony and awakening where the soul can no longer tolerate the dull ache of wasted potential. And in that moment, the seed of purpose begins to rise. It is not born in comfort. It is not forged in calm. It emerges in fire, in frustration, in longing, in the knowing that life must be more than this. And it is. Because purpose is stronger than talent, rarer than luck, more relentless than circumstance. Purpose is armor. Purpose is a weapon. Purpose is the fire that turns ordinary men into forces of history. Thomas Edison endured over 10,000 failures, not because he loved failure, but because his purpose was brighter than any invention. Henry Ford was ridiculed for dreaming that the automobile could belong to the masses, but his purpose outlasted the laughter. Walt Disney was told he had no imagination, yet his vision roared louder than doubt. Nikola Tesla dreamed of energy flowing freely through space, while the world mocked him. Abraham Lincoln carried a fractured nation on his weary shoulders. Oprah carved an empire from the wounds of trauma. Carnegie built from poverty. Jobs sculpted from obsession. These were not lucky people. These were people possessed by purpose. That is the difference between dreamers and doers. Dreamers hope. Doers live with purpose. But the world will try to steal it from you. It will throw distractions like chains, temptations like poison, criticism like knives, comfort like quicksand. And if you're not awake, you will drown in comparison, in noise, in endless scrolling of other people's lives. But when you know who you are and why you are here, none of it pierces you. Because purpose is not polite. Purpose is not quiet. It does not wait for permission. It roars. It slays fear. It silences doubt. It breaks chains. And when you finally choose to live with intention, you stop being just a person. You become a force of nature. The wind does not ask to blow. The storm does not apologize for its power. And neither will you. But understand this. Purpose does not arrive by accident. You do not stumble into it while scrolling, wishing, waiting. Purpose must be unearthed like gold, hidden beneath the surface of comfort. It demands effort, brutal honesty, a confrontation with your mediocrity. It demands you stop asking, "What can the world give me?" and start declaring, "What was I sent here to give?" Because your mind is not a mirror. It is a compass. It does not just reflect reality. It creates it. Guided by intention, it stops chasing the external and begins aligning the internal. Mediocre minds drown in gossip, envy, and fear. Purpose-driven minds burn with vision, values, and results. You cannot waste time scrolling lives when you are busy sculpting a legacy. You cannot waste energy competing when you are called to create. Clarity does not come from easy answers. It comes from terrifying questions. What was I truly made for? What truth am I avoiding? What would I pursue if failure lost its grip on me? What lie have I believed about my worth that keeps me small? These are not intellectual exercises. They are detonators. Sit with them long enough, and they will shatter the false identity you've been living under. Because belief is fuel, but purpose is the engine. And when belief marries mission, it becomes unstoppable. Purpose does not remove storms. It makes you the lighthouse. It does not erase struggle. It transforms it into strength. Struggle is not your enemy. Aimlessness is. Pain without purpose is punishment. Pain with purpose is power. Every betrayal, every sleepless night, every failure becomes architecture for a life that cannot be broken. That is why those with purpose walk differently, speak differently, breathe differently. There's a fire behind their silence, a certainty in their stride. Even their rest is productive. Even their pauses are powerful. They do not chase admiration. They embody authenticity. Their courage becomes a mirror in which others see their own potential. Do not confuse passion with purpose. Passion fades with mood, with energy, with circumstance. Purpose transcends all of it. Passion says, I'll show up when I feel like it. Purpose says, I show up whether I feel like it or not. I show up when I'm tired. I show up when I'm doubted. I show up when I am underestimated. Because this is not about me. This is about the mission I was sent to fulfill. That is what makes you unshakable. That is what makes you unstoppable. Purpose will demand sacrifice. You will outgrow friends. You will be misunderstood by family. You will face lonely nights. But loneliness is proof. Proof that you are shedding the skin of mediocrity. Proof that you are stepping into a deeper life. Proof that you are dangerous to everything shallow. Do not fear it, because what you gain in place of shallow comfort is sacred peace, the kind of peace that cannot be bought, cannot be faked, the peace of alignment. And alignment is greater than applause. Alignment is what fuels you when no one is watching. Alignment is what sharpens you when results are slow. Alignment is what anchors you when storms rage. Understand this. Purpose is not found in the noise. It is found in the silence. In the still hours where you stare down your fear, where you hear the whisper of your soul calling you home. That silence terrifies most people. But you, if you dare, will come to crave it. Because in that silence lives your direction. And when you find it, you stop waiting for stars to align. You become the alignment. You stop waiting for signs. You become the sign. You stop asking for maps. You become the compass. And yes, purpose will test you. Resistance is not a sign you are wrong. It is the evidence you are exactly where you are meant to be. Resistance asks, will you fold or will you forge? Will you trade your mission for comfort or rise through fire and come out steel? Every empire was built in silence, in solitude, in the sacred spaces where no one clapped, but something eternal was watching. Every revolution began with one person who refused to die with their gift buried inside them. So let the critics scream. Let the world seduce itself with distractions. Let comfort numb the masses. Not you. You were not born to blend in. You were not born to scroll your life away. You were not born to die with potential still intact. You were born to blaze a trail. You were born to roar. You were born to pierce the fog and remind the world what it looks like when a soul is fully alive, fully awake, fully intentional. And when you live this way, the universe bends, doors open, people appear, not by luck, by alignment. Because the universe does not respond to desperation, it responds to direction. And direction is born from intention. That is why a person on purpose becomes magnetic, inevitable, undeniable. So burn the bridges back to your excuses. Destroy the lies that kept you small. Annihilate the false identity built on fear, on comparison, on approval addiction. Step boldly into the self that was always waiting underneath. The version of you who does not beg for shortcuts, who does not shrink for applause, who does not flinch at obstacles. That version is not a fantasy. That version is you, awakened. And now, the torch is in your hands. Generations are watching. You can let the flame die, or you can set the world on fire. Purpose is not a destination. It is a daily decision, a vow to live wide awake, a vow to walk with feet rooted in values, a vow to speak with a voice that trembles with truth. even when it costs you everything shallow to gain what is sacred. Do not forget this. Repetition is the sculptor of destiny. You will not become what you visualize once. You will become what you visualize daily, obsessively, relentlessly, until your behavior, your standards, your environment bow to the vision inside you. That is not magic. That is biology. Install it, live it, embody it, until the world no longer asks who you are, but feels it in your presence. Because the one who walks with purpose is not waiting to become someone. He already is. He does not ask, how long will this take? He asks, how far can I go? He does not hope for the perfect moment. He moves and makes the moment perfect by the power of his presence. And that is why living with intention changes everything.